Okay, here we go. So in this class, we're going to focus on figure and ground. So if you know a little about painting, traditionally there's the figure, which may be a still life or portrait, and that's the object. And then there's the ground, which is background. And in Buddhism, it's called form and formlessness, or boundlessness. In the day-to-day mind and the day-to-day world, our perceptions are rooted in form. We're focusing on form. We're actually very trapped in form. And one of the main thrusts of Qigong, of spiritual Qigong, is moving us into a softer or a more open, a more diffuse awareness to bring in the formless, and eventually to merge with the formless, and then to rejoin the world of form with that expanded sense of reality. So sort of becoming less solid, more spacious. And the body is more spacious when it's relaxed. It's less solid. It's less tension. And the mind is more spacious when it's still. So let's begin by bowing to the directions, starting with north. East. South. West. Boundlessness. Form. Awareness. Let's start by stretching out the neck and shoulders. go into opening the chest. And flexing the hip joint. And circling the hips. And then balancing. So being double weighted and balanced front to back, shifting the weight to one side when it's completely stable and lifting up the unweighted foot. You can leave the toe on the ground if you want to. Double weight, shift again, sink down. And you can use the hands if you want. Golden pheasant stands on one leg. You sink down a little lower, helps the balance. And let's do 3 back washes and 3 tree and spring. Opening up the spine. Okay, as you go down, you can really use the eyes to focus the gaze inside the body, looking at the inside of the spine, opening up the spine as you go down. We're looking in. Just enjoying the openness of the spine when it's bent like this. Check that your weight is still even on your feet, not tipped forward. Neck is loose. And then as we come up, move the eyes up the inside of the spine and look at the spine. So you go all the way up. And the eyes follow the hands. Okay, and then one more. The eyes move up the spine. And out, top of the head. Extend out into the universe and then down inside the body, down into the earth, up from the earth, up the center, looking up, breathe out, again. Okay, I don't think Allison is here with us, but in honor of her and of all the other teachers, like to do the planting the flower one, remember? So we start like this, we're gonna bend down, and then at the bottom, the hands turn out, come up to the heart, and then up, and then at the top, they open up. Then we repeat. Okay, so here we go. Down, turn, hands, rotate, up to the heart, prayer position, up, and open. It's like the sunflower. And repeat. So this is like the spade, down, growing up to the heart, bend the knees, and open. This is like parting the clouds. Colleen Lewis taught us this at the last retreat. Down, open, rotate, and up, open, and down, and repeat. Okay, and similar one I'd like to move into, well, just briefly, I want to touch into the cicada Qigong again and do it the original way. So so the hands are going to come point down, dip the knees, then the fingers are pointing to the center line, coming up, 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 all the way up, and then out, and then bending, and then opening, and then stepping. Okay, and then repeat. So again, this is pointing down to form, down to the earth. And then as we bring the hands up, like we're sending light laser beams through the fingers and cutting through the shell of the cicada all the way up. And then we're going to then put our hands into the opening and open, and then step through. And repeat. In breath. Really feel, really imagine this cutting, these laser beams cutting open the shell all the way up. Okay, it's cut open, and now we're going to bend. Insert the fingers into the cut. Open. Step. Step. Breathe. So this is like the levels of the pagoda. But each time we're opening at a more subtle level. And so each time we repeat this, we're coming more into stillness and into formlessness, taking away the form. There may be sounds associated with this. Let's do two more. And this last one, at the very end, see if you can sense the chi, the energy of life at the very end. Sense it in the body. Okay, let's go ahead and take our seat. I think the Lan Fa mudra. Well, let's begin by just remembering in the body, doing the tree in spring, the backwash, or planting the flower, or the cicada, any of those. Use the breath and the eyes to recreate that experience without moving. And for this next one, let's all meditate on the cicada Qigong. Visualize it completely. And when you reach the end, just imagine that you're standing. Okay, and then imagine that you're sitting. All right, now let's focus on the sensations of the body. That is, what is the quality? How does it feel to be in a body? How do you know there's a body here? You can feel it. What does it feel like? What is sensation? Is it perhaps some kind of a tingling, kind of a vibrating aliveness? Imagine a light bulb that's off. And then suddenly it goes on. vibration at a very rapid clip. There's light, there's heat. It's just like the energy in the body. We can sense this. How do you know that a body is here? The sense of, the perceived sense of touch that is external and internal is a constantly vibrating, pixelated awareness, which can morph into pleasure or pain or movement or any one of a million things. But the basic sense is somehow electric, it's somehow vibrating. And it's the sense of touch. I think this is actually obvious. Now let's please, if you would please close your eyes. Now let's go to the sense of sight. So with eyes closed, this is just darkness, right? Let's focus on the darkness. Let's look at the ground, that is the spaciousness. There's no object to see. The eyes are closed. The world of objects is gone. There's just boundlessness. Let's focus on the quality of seeing. You look at the insides of your eyelids the same way you would study an object. What do you see? Do you just see blackness? Or do you see millions of pixelated, moving points of light or energy? By looking at the field without an object, we directly see the nature of perception, which is impermanent, vibrating, pixelated. It's exactly the same as the sense of feel, sense of touch, except it's perceived by the eyes, so it's visual. This is what the ancients meant by Qi. Life force energy, directly perceivable. And now, let's move to hearing. And not focusing on any sounds, but just the silence, the white noise, the background. Light is vibrating. Sound is also vibrating. Silence is very much alive. There's the potential in silence for all sounds to arise. It's vibrating. It's the nature of hearing. It's the nature of perception. Now, let's move to the mind. If you like, you can imagine the blue sky or just empty blackness or space. This is the space of the mind. This is the mind without objects. It's the mind in the present moment. The mind also is vibrating, pixelated, infinite, non-local, and spacious. This is what the ancients called emptiness. That which perceives the sense of touch, perceives the sense of seeing, perceives the sense of hearing and all the senses, also perceives the mind. That which perceives is consciousness. And consciousness is a tiny, pixelated moment of awareness, which is vast beyond knowing. Nothing is solid. Nothing is permanent. Everything is perceived by the mind, through the senses or through the space of the mind. Everything, all of reality. The mind itself exists in a vast ocean of awareness. If a thought arises, we can focus on the thought, or we can focus on the space in which it arises. If we hear a sound, we can focus on the sound, or we can focus on the space in which the sound arises. Everything arises in space, in spaciousness. The spaciousness is alive. Okay, let's take a few more breaths. And let's just gently come back into this place and time. Move your fingers a little, maybe your toes. Just gently come back. All right, and let's put our stool to the side. So we're standing in the same way we were after each cicada Qigong. Our awareness is expanded beyond the body. Okay, now let's go into a basic movement. Let's do flying crane, just very slowly, without disturbing the space. Okay, the body is moving, and in the mind, there is a motion picture going of the body moving. The body's moving in space. The proprioception, the image of the body, is moving in the space of the mind. Just merge these two together. The mind is in the body is in the mind. The space around the body is the same as the space in the mind. The space is still and contains effortlessly all movement and all objects. Okay, let's reduce the movement. Now let's go into Cicada Qigong again. Cutting through. The shell may be very thin. Step through as if stepping through a cloud. And the body is spacious. In the present moment. And then repeat. This may be more gentle. The shell is softer, thinner. More cloud-like. Okay, let's do two more. Okay, so one name for this is ESP, but it's expanded sensory perception. So when the shell gets thin, then the ability to perceive the spaciousness itself occurs as an expansion. So the solidity of thought or of the body expands along with perception. So it's expanded sensory perception. Now, at the end of stepping through, it's that standing, that stillness. Okay, and that stillness is where the awareness is. So the sutras talk a lot about non-self. There's a lot of indications about nirvana and being one. And the cutting and the opening is the step-by-step intention and work to manifest that moment of presence. So as we become more familiar with this sort of boundless quality, we can sense it at any moment in the feelings of the body, because the energy, the pixelation, the vibration is the perception of this boundlessness. That's how we feel it. So at any moment, just stopping, taking a breath, and feeling the body points us instantly in the direction of this boundless awareness. Okay, well, let's just move the body now. The body maybe moves more easily now, maybe it's more relaxed. This is the relaxation is the kind of the product of the spacious mind. The mind is most spacious in deep dreamless sleep, and the body is completely relaxed. But in order to have a relaxed body, we have to be flexible and we have to be able to move for it to be relaxed. Because we have all these muscles and they all want to do stuff. Okay, and then if you need to do this a little, that's fine. So let's just, for the last couple minutes, let's just stand in this standing position and just let the perceptions return. The feeling, how the body feels, what the feeling is. What does it look like on the insides of the eyelids? What is the texture, the quality of silence? And what is the mind without forms, without thinking? And then backing up a little, who's perceiving all of this? And that witness or perceptor being completely surrounded and interpenetrated by the unconditioned, by awareness. And all of this is here, from the most minute sensation in the body all the way to timeless awareness. Okay, time for the removing glasses move. And let's, on the count of 3, let's clap our hands. 1, 2, 3. Massage the eyes. Comb back the hair. Massage the ears. Tap the kidneys. And massage the kidneys. Well, thank you so much for practicing together. And I'll move in and we can talk a little bit if you want to, or if you need to go. See you in a week. Okay. Any questions or comments about the figure and ground? You know, I remember being a little tiny kid and looking at the sky and watching it and being fascinated by how it was constantly moving. How my perception of it was pixelated and vibrating. And then sometime later I realized that my inside of my eyelids looked like that too. And so there was no such thing as nothing. I mean, everything was moving. Everything was energetic. And I later found out in my life and studying Buddhism and so on that and Taoism that's qi, that's actually the sensory manifestation of awareness. It's that close. I mean, it's our perception. And that what we're actually seeing is not just the object, but we're seeing our own perception of it, how it comes to us. So if you think about a fly has a compound eye. You remember this from science, right? It's got all these cells in the eye. And its image, the image that it sees is many, many, many images of whatever it is it's looking at. It's not one image. And I think that's a simpler eye than ours, but it's the same kind of thing, same kind of pixelated quality of perception.